we're going to talk about defense in this game. We're going to talk about defense and how to protect yourself, how to lower the stun gauge, how to like avoid such scenarios, because that's the really important part. It's like we talk about pressure, 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 but what about defense? What about blocking, right? That's also really important. So we're going to talk about how V reversals and how stun works, right? So obviously you see the stun bar under your life, under like the life bar. So you see that builds up your stun. Every time you get hit, it builds up your stun, and when it gets to the max, you're actually stunned, and then the opponent gets a free hit, free combo on you. But you can spend V reversal for costing 1 bar of V gauge. You can spend a V reversal, which will lower your stun, right? And it lowers your stun by like at least like close to 30%, which is really strong, right? A lot of people will use that to lower their stun so they don't take advantage. But the thing is, you have to sacrifice your V meter, right? You have to sacrifice your V meter, which will take away your V trigger. So a lot of times when characters that have like 3 bar V triggers, right, as you can see on Ken's side, compared to Ryu's 2 bar, it's more people are scared to use that scenario where like, do I want to use like my reversal, or should I just try to like defend properly? Because if you're blocking, you don't lose stun. The stun doesn't go away. The stun only goes away when no attacks are hitting you or you're blocking attacks. If you're just avoiding it, then it still goes away. But it takes like a few frames, a few seconds to like kind of start going down slowly but surely. And the V reversal really helps a lot because boom, instant 30% bar goes away. You spend 2 V reversals, you're pretty much, your bar is empty. But the consequence is that you lost your potential to summon V trigger per round, because it's really hard. I would say naturally, let's say if you don't use any V gauge in general, you'll probably build, yeah, you'll probably build maybe like four bars of V meter. Now let's talk about now there are different, as you can see from Ryu's had a different V meter, V reversal, right, which is different. Ken actually has a different, like some characters have strike V reversals, which is like Ken, which doesn't knock you down like Ryu's does, right? Ryu has a knockdown V reversal. So Ryu has a knockdown V reversal. Ken will have a strike V reversal where it's a pretty much faster startup where it comes out much faster, and then you can really use that as like a guaranteed punish for these strings, but but it doesn't cause a knockdown. So there's pros and cons, and then there's actually another V reversal, which is like more of like a, I guess like a dodge V reversal, a get out of corner V reversal. So Cammy actually has that type of V reversal where she inputs forward 3 kicks, right? So forward when you press forward and then 3 kicks, she actually goes the other side and kicks you, right? So it's very good for like corner positioning, right? You want to use that, like especially if you're getting cornered. A lot of times you'll notice that people will naturally get bullied in the corner. So but you have these reversals where you kind of get this dodge and it kind of pushes you to the other side, which is nice, right? So don't forget, if you want to implement V reversal, you have to tap forward 3 punches or forward 3 kicks while you're in block stun. So think about that. It really does save lives, in my opinion. So that's also gonna be really good. Now we're gonna talk about the new mechanic in Street Fighter V. The new mechanic that has been added in, V shift. V shift is actually pretty darn good because it also uses one bar of V meter, and what it is it pretty much is like an invincible backdash. Think about it as an invincible backdash, right? And what it does is that it helps you prevent from, like, you know, you can use it on wake up if your character doesn't have like a great wake up move. You can use it on like for those examples. You can use it against like strings that like has little gaps into it, right? And the good thing about it is that if you successfully use it correctly, where the game will give you like let's say if you use it right against an attack and the game recognizes that, you'll get a slowdown. And then the reward of it is that you'll be able to get half a bar of V meter back, which is nice. And then also there's a second follow-up for the V meter. It's called V break, right? Where the character will do a follow-up attack which will knock the opponent down, and it will give them gray life, plus you'll get back half a bar of V meter, which is really good. So depending on, you know, what do you want? Do you want to use the V break to get them out of the situation, or do you want to use like just a V shift and try to get like an expert punish? Usually I do think the end goal is probably to do a V shift and then go for an expert punish, as you can see right there, right? Like when Ken does a step kick, you can kind of do V shift and then just do a combo instead of using V shift into V break. And V break only comes out, guys, don't forget, it only comes out when you get a successful V shift where the game slows down. When the game slows down, that then you can do V break, and you just hold it down, just hold V shift down, and then you'll get it easy, no problem. And look, here's I'm gonna show you an example of a V shift punish combo, right? Ken does his target combo right into his V skill into the kick, and I V shift, go for combo, activate the V trigger, goes into Shinku Hadouken. Look at that, very nice punch. Think about that. Think about how cool it is if you could land that at the end of the game, end of the round for the victory, right? I think that's really important. Now we're gonna talk about something that's pretty important: frame data. Right, I added this menu on top. You could add it when you go into training mode as well, and then this tells you like your frame data. You see the frames on the top. It's gonna tell you on hit and block, and also the colors, right? So blue, like blue, Reed's gonna turn blue, Ken's gonna turn red, and that's gonna tell you like, who's in advantage in these situations. All right, and look at the frame data. You see that stand light punch was +2, meaning he is +2 on block, right? So because that means you're +2, you're able to press another button. If you're blue, it's your thing. Of it is like if you're blue, it's your turn. If you're red, it's not your turn. Obviously, this won't show like in the match. So this is something that you kind of have to memorize in your head. I know it's kind of like math. It's like kind of like you're in math class again, but trust me, it's really fun because you get some really cool combos. You'll get the counter hit, and counter hit will grant you new combos, which is pretty nice, right? So a lot of times you want to just kind of like sit in the lab and press these buttons to see like, okay, am I plus here, am I minus here, what can I do in these situations, right? And this will help you to defend against offense, because obviously, like, since pressure is really strong in this game, a lot of people like to do some like, fake pressure stuff, right? So here, example, we're gonna record Ken doing grab into dash grab. As you can see, when Ken does dash grab, it's like really fast, right? Well, wow, how can you react to something like that, right? It's very hard to react to, right? But the thing is, you have to think about it like this, right? So when Ken does his grab, here like this, he dashes up, he's red. That means he shouldn't be able to do it. So that means you have a chance to press a button here. Look at it, you see that counter hit, instant counter hit right there because it's my turn. It's fake pressure, but fake pressure is really strong in this game. But you have to have the knowledge to see if you can stop it, right? Right. So these are ways of scenarios where you can punish. Look at that. Look at him trying to fake pressure, and I know it. I get a combo right here into combo to super 40%. You can do a lot of things, right? This is something where you want to go and just kind of like put the computer on record, so you can see like, okay, when I played online this match, I lost to this strategy. So can I see if I can punish it, or is this something that I really have to like defend like in a much harder sense, right? Because like I said, throws are really strong in this game. But if you know that it's fake pressure, because season 5 they try to balance it where it's the point where like people can't like abuse throws as much. So even though throws are still really strong in this version, by just in Street Fighter 5 in general, it's not as bad compared to previous seasons. Or like season 1 when the game first came out, season 2 or season 3. But season 5 is definitely much more balanced. So yeah, this is for defense. Hope you learn a lot with the V shift, with the V breaks, and also frame data. Practice at home. Practice in a lab with what frame data that you need to learn, because you need to know all the frame data, and just know that -2 is a suggestion, right? -2 meaning it's your turn, it's their turn. Like just know that that's the magic number in this game. -2 is always probably the magic number.